a small percentage of you have been around this a long time. You and I have tracked. So if that is you, if you're an OG, you will remember that 10 years ago, on the dot, 1 decade ago, we did a project in our family called Seven. To this day, I have now written 12 or 13 books, and this is the one book that people want to talk to me about the most, hands down. It's because it was wild. It was wild, it was fascinating, it was a social experiment. It was this sense, I had this like gnawing sense that everything in my life was just too much. Too much spending, too much stuff, too many possessions, too much waste, too much stress, all of it. But I could not figure out how to find my way out. I knew it, I felt it, but I'm like, I don't know how to get out of this machine. I'm trapped. And so we did an experiment called Seven, and it was, we took 7 areas of excess: food, clothes, possessions, spending, media and technology. Whoops, how has that changed in a decade? Waste and stress. Spent 1 month on each thing, in which we boiled down our options in that category to just 7 things. For example, we ate the same 7 foods for a month. We wore the same 7 pieces of clothes for a month. We only spent money in 7 places for a month. We gave away 7 things a day that we owned for a month, etc. And, short version, changed our lives. Radically. And interestingly, it changed your lives. And so, I, with a new publishing partner, went back through 7 with a fine-tooth comb. We edited, I updated. And let me tell you what I mean by updated. I found several things in the original manuscript that I no longer stand by. Like, I don't talk like that anymore. Those are things that I've learned. You know, 10 years is a long time to grow. That's a big chunk of time to grow and mature and wisen up. I found data that is now incredibly updated. I mean, the whole chapter on waste, it's chock full of new information now on the earth, on the care of the earth and conservationism. And so rather than just take all that out and replace it with better language or better concepts or better research, I left it in. And then I wrote myself notes in parentheses throughout the entire manuscript saying, hey, Jen, I'm going to teach you something right now that you didn't know when you wrote this. It is humbling. It is so humbling. My editing team was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Because I also want to show my readers what it looks like to grow, what it looks like to change your mind, what it looks like to learn, and also what it looks like to go back and say, I'm sorry I wrote this. I apologize if this harmed you or hurt you or marginalized you in some way. I do not stand by this anymore, and here's how I would like to replace it. So the whole thing is not only updated, it's like walking through my life with me for the last decade. So it's changed its title, and it's called Simple and Free. And then, y'all, we went in for you. We also created, these are brand new products. These didn't, this was the original trade, but completely updated and revised. These are brand new. We did a simple and free guided journal and a simple and free study guide. Because what we discovered the first time around is this is what you want to do in community. This is stuff to do with your family. This is stuff to do with your friends, with your small group, with your Bible study, with your neighbors, because the conversations inside of these are so rich. And then, of course, if you tackle any sort of the experiment yourself, it's nice to have some partners. It is nice to have some co-conspirators if you're doing something weird, okay? By the way, let me be the first to say, none of this is a template or a rule book or a list of do's and don'ts. I promise you it isn't. There's all kinds of options in here for you to hook into the conversation in a way that makes sense for you. So it all comes out in March, and you can have it in these beautiful book forms. You can get the audiobook, which I didn't read it the first time around, so this will be my first time to record Simple and Free. I can't wait. You know, I love to do that for you. So audio listeners, coming in hot for you. You can find all of this and more over at my website, jenhatmaker.com. I'm going to do this with you. Oh, by the way, I'm going to do this with you. We are going to do sort of an online community where we do a shortened version, not a 7-month version, a shortened version of the experiment. Let's just see what happens.